My favorite bit is when I'm watching a movie I don't know anything about, is just be like, is this going to be like a Love Actually style? Like just like walking into like,
that's what all of this is though.
I know. Yeah.
All of this is like Love Actually happened. And then America was like, we got to do something. And they did too much. They did too much.
I wish they held on to the 9/11 beginning for each of the movies. Like that is the through line for it. It's like he's just not into you. It's like, and I couldn't get a date on 9/11. Like it's just like I want them to hold to that part.
What's that movie? Is it a hit? Don't ask her like, 'cause she'll say I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen It podcast. This is a podcast where we bring people on the show and we get them really drunk and they tell me about a movie that I've never seen before. I'm Alinka Zach.
And I'm Will.
And it's 2021, baby!
And it's 2021! Yeah.
We rehearsed that to be in sync.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. All our problems are over because Biden's going to be president, right? Like that's how it works. That's how all this works. Everything is going to be A-okay.
Everything's going to be fine. COVID's gone. My cat came back to life. Everything is fine again.
Oh, God. But I think misogyny is still alive and well, probably in 2021. It certainly
that
was
leads somewhere, right?
2009. Yeah.
Okay.
You know. Which leads us to our next guest. They're not misogynists. That's not what I meant.
I've heard a rumor or two.
What?
This is going well.
We have the lovely... we have the lovely hosts of Shh, I'm watching a movie. The hilarious actors, comedians, and people just trying to make it in this world. Alex Kolanko and Alessandra Vite. Welcome to the show.
Oh man.
What a rocky intro.
It was like a roller coaster of being called a misogynist.
Yeah.
Every hill.
I would say, Will, you've had some pretty fucking terrible intros, but this probably the worst.
No, thank you.
It felt like you guys burned us on our career paths as well.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I'm just using your words against you. That's what I'm using.
I saw the path you could have taken into the intro about talking about like this movie being very misogynistic, and then you just decide to swerve and be like let's get mud everywhere, let's fucking show them. Like,
that's what this is all about. We just
great.
We don't respect our guests whatsoever.
Right.
It was
especially
beautiful.
last
we don't
episode.
respect our guests on our show either. So that works.
Guys get to earn respect.
Sorry, are we like sibling podcasts? Because it's like two people who don't date each other doing a podcast about movies, comedians?
Yeah. That's pretty
you're
much,
right. That's the criteria.
Did I get that right?
That's our exact genre.
Well,
plus we're white.
Yeah. Was that like your way of making sure Will and I are not dating? Is that your way of asking?
This is how I figure out that both of you are single, and then you're going to get terrible messages from me later on. 3 a.m. I'm just going to text you both, babe. and see what happens.
Where's this going to go?
We'll see.
We are we're both coupled up, but not together, you know?
Fianced?
Yeah. Not fianced yet. No.
I just need to know people's marital status. Good. So I'm the single person on this podcast.
Yeah, so this movie was made for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God, exactly. I need to take all of this advice very seriously. And the advice for women is be passive. Shut your fucking mouth.
Oh.
That is the advice.
I am so fucking
I'm ready
pumped about
to
this.
use that in this world.
Yeah, well, what movie are we talking about, guys?
We're talking about He's Just Not That Into You.
The 2009 classic.
God.
The 2009 classic. Based off of a line from a Sex and the City episode.
Nope.
Wait, really?
Based on a book. No, hold on.
No, Alex, the book was based on the line.
Yeah. But the book was written by the writers of that episode.
The book was written by someone who was a consultant on that episode. So I have a
very
feeling
bad stand-up comic, like an absolutely
Greg. What's his name?
Greg Bernhardt
or something. He has a cameo in the movie.
Like he wrote that. I forgot about that.
In the defense of a book being written on this, besides misogyny, and the episode of Sex and the City, all it was they were at dinner. And oh, by the way, I'm such a Sex and the City nerd. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Haven't seen it.
They're at dinner, and Carrie is introducing her new boyfriend, who, if you were defined as a toxic, masculine type of man, he is the most toxic. His name was Berger, and Miranda is talking about. He's meeting all the girlfriends, and she's like, "Oh, are you maxed out on girl talk?" And he's like, "No, give it to me." And she talks about a date she went on, and he literally goes, "I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think he's that into you. He's just not that into you." And then this light bulb goes off in Miranda's head, and she's like, "This is a great idea. I'm not going to waste time." So every time I go on a date, the minute I get the feeling that he's not into me, I'm not even going to give it a second thought. So that in that defense, it's not a terrible word of advice.
No.
Sure.
No.
But to write a whole book and say, this is how women have to live. Anyways, let's get into the movie.
Oh, is this the premise? I was really fucking hoping that this was going to be like a little, I wouldn't call it a coming of age, but maybe a growing the fuck up for this lady that's like obsessed with someone that's not into her. And then she's like, I'm fine by myself. Doesn't really sound like that's going to be the exception. Thing, though.
The whole thing is,
oh no,
you're not the exception. You're not the exception. And then at the end, they're like, surprise, you were the exception. Why?
You're the exception. Do not grow at all as a character. Like,
yeah, I think there's like one character who grows a little bit.
Who is it? Is it Jennifer Connelly?
Bradley Cooper.
No,
yeah.
no,
Bradley Cooper.
No,
these people are in this movie.
One, you know, he's probably the most famous in this movie at that time. Probably.
Ben Affleck's in the fucking movie.
He's the least famous. ScarJo, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston.
That's what I said. I said
people are in the movie.
Ben Affleck. Yes. That's what
wait, hold on.
Draws.
Wait, have you still not seen this movie?
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the point?
She hasn't seen it.
Oh, so we're describing. Oh, yeah. Let's do a cast. Should we do like a cast rundown of
actually, before we do a cast breakdown, Alenka, you kind of already said, but what do you know, if anything, about this movie?
I thought I envisioned this like movie poster to be like a lady reaching out for a guy that was on the other side of the movie poster, and he was just like, and like her friends are holding her back. That's about all I could fathom.
Is that
just
even
a group
on the
of
poster?
friends?
Yeah.
Like she's gonna fight someone?
No, like she's trying to reach out to this guy, like, ooh, give me, and he's like, meh. And then her friends are just like, oh no, not for you. And
that's one storyline of this film.
Great.
You are correct on that.
Pegged it pretty much.
Yeah.
As for the characters, I didn't know all those people were in there. That's a little sassy bunch.
So it's a Love Actually style, like a movie where it's like a bunch of little short stories that all like come together. You're shaking your head. You've not seen Love Actually.
Have you not seen Love Actually either?
We recapped it, but I didn't like it.
For holiday movie month.
I don't. That's hard. Okay. It's. I hate comparing it to Love Actually.
As ignorant as she is, she does understand the concept of diverting storylines.
Yes.
Merge back
no,
up.
I hate comparing it to Love Actually because Love Actually seems organic and like it does.
Love Actually is crass. Love Actually is calculated. Love Actually, you know what Love Actually has more in common with, and all these movies have more in common with, is 2006's Crash, where it's like because you know what it is you're colored by the romantic blah blah blah. I want to kiss. I want to kiss Hugh Grant. That's what you're clouded by. Yeah, you're clouded by I could kiss all these wonderful British gaunt men, and then
the guy from The Office.
Just the guy.
Ricky Gervais.
I forget his name. The one that plays Jim with the Jim in
Martin
Britain.
Freeman.
Martin Freeman. So
but you're clouded by that of like these movies aren't good or enjoyable, and it's like if you watch Crash is not in Crash is garbage.
Crash won Best Picture, Alex.
So did Green Book. You want to get into Best Picture winners who suck?
What can I say? As an Italian, I have to stand Green. No, imagine what a terrible movie that was. But am I going to deny
any other movie references you make is lost on?
Yeah,
it's
going
lost.
over.
Okay. We were so bad on that.
I can do Crash in one line, which I think Alenka will appreciate, which is just Love Actually, but instead of love, it's like racism.
Racism in LA.
Oh,
racism actually is
racism actually in LA. And it makes you feel sorry for the racist cop.
Yeah.
Cool.
The whole movie is making you feel sorry for racists.
You feel sorry for the racist cop.
And then
that's
being
like 3 billboards
it's
outside Ebbing, Missouri, right?
Don't even get me fucking started on that movie.
that movie has eaten like hours of yelling on our podcast.
All right.
because everyone in my life likes that movie. And it's like, what did you... Okay, let's get into He's Just Not That Into.
Yeah.
Well, here's the cast breakdown. Alenka, you won't believe who's in this movie.
Yeah, tell me now.
We've got Ben Affleck. He's like the top billed at this point, I think.
Which is very funny because he's got 5 lines total.
I know, he's very little.
Well, you know what? Can I say he has come off of Geely Benifer situation. So this is a little bit of like I'm sorry, I'm still okay. And I do find that his portrayal in the movie is quite deflated. Continue.
We got Jennifer Aniston, another top bill.
Yeah.
And then Drew Barrymore. Those are like the 3 top bills,
which I
probably have like the least kind of storyline.
Yeah.
And then we have the voice of the rabbit from Zootopia.
Nope.
Plays Gigi.
Yes. Jennifer Goodwin.
I couldn't. I was staring at her dumb face and I was like, where are you from? And I was like,
guys, she's from Mona Lisa Smile, the Julia Roberts movie about women going to college in the 50s.
That's
where
what it
their
was.
whole goal is to drop out of Sarah Lawrence to get married. And all of them do.
That sounds like a
But it's played sadly.
Yeah. And of course we have E from Entourage, Kevin Connolly. So this movie, Kevin Connolly and Jennifer Goodwin are like the same star status as all these other people. No other time, I think, in history.
I'd say E might be even like way more famous than Jennifer Goodwin.
True. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Nowadays, though, you don't see them anywhere. Other than
nor should we. E. I'm sorry, I don't know what his actual personality is like, but I hate him.
Oh, and the fact they want you to feel emotionally connected to him through 2 hours of a movie is like the biggest miscalculation that any producer has ever made. Wow.
And
Entourage, I feel bad for anyone on Entourage in the sense that like it's made me hate them for life. And maybe they're good people. Who knows?
They probably are. Then we have Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly is in this. Scarlett Johansson. Yeah.
With the greatest hair extensions. Oof.
Oh.
Bradley Cooper.
Right. B. Coops.
Yeah. Justin Long. Justin
Long.
Yeah. Not playing a weirdo nerd.
Yeah.
Weird.
Playing a nerd. Accurate. But maybe he's supposed to be cool.
I feel like he's supposed to be pretty cool. He's like a bar manager. He seems to like be charming and cool. Mostly because you have Busy Phillips as a role in this. Like,
well, do you know why Busy Phillips is in this movie?
No.
Her husband wrote it. So her husband has a writing partner. I forget their names, but they wrote this. And then they wrote What to Expect When You're Expecting, which is the exact same kind of movie. Yeah. And then they wrote How to Be Single.
Great.
They have good advice.
Sorry, I have a problem.
It's a couple men that have great advice for women. It's fantastic.
For women they love. Oh, they also wrote that Amy Schumer movie, I Feel Pretty.
Oh my God.
Did they actually?
Women. They hate women. They want them dead. They want them dead.
That movie sucks so much.
It's bad.
That movie was chaotic.
I've actually seen that
I laughed
one.
so hard.
Yeah.
And how'd you feel about it?
I think I actually watched it immediately again after the fact. I'm not sure why. It's just an entertaining thing to observe.
It is a bit like staring into the void of being like, I'd be like, I can't believe there's so much hatred on this reel of film.
I was so confused too, I think, because I was like, do I like this or not really at all? Like, do I parts of it I hated and parts of it I was like, okay. I feel for that.
Because there's one joke at the beginning that needs respect paid to it. And it's when she's working in the basement with that guy, I forget, he's a stand-up. And he asks her to go get him a baguette. And she's like, a baguette? And he's like, yeah. She goes, you want me to bring you just a baguette? And he's like, yeah, half a baguette. Great joke.
That was a good memory.
That's pretty much the cast. Although one name is there's also Chris Christopherson. He's in this movie too, which is a nice little role. Miss that guy.
I met that guy.
Did you?
Who is this guy?
He's really tall.
He's a singer, actor.
He
was
wrote
in the
Me
Blade
and Bobby
movies.
McGee.
Oh yes.
I regret asking. I don't know any of this.
What do you do all day? Because
I don't know. I work, play Animal Crossing.
Oh, I see.
Working on my island.
Just a hardcore gamer.
Yeah.
No, I wish I had time to do that.
Lives in our house.
I just watch Family Guy.
What is your job? Just like EMT?
No, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No, I like when people don't know pop culture like me because I shouldn't know it like this. It's a shame.
Oh, no, you're more normal than the two of us. I just, I want to see the path.
Shameful.
Like, I want to see, like, how did you get here? Where did I go? What was the wrong turn I made that
I was born to European parents. I was raised Catholic. And
you're hitting all the same things that I am, yet somehow I fucked up.
Yeah, I was born to two immigrant parents as well.
This doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know
went to
what
Catholic
went
school
wrong
until
for
grade
you
9.
guys.
I went to Catholic school till grade 12. I know so much about the fucking Lord.
So much about the Lord.
I
don't know, man. You guys clearly did it wrong.
Soon.
I don't know. Nope, that's wrong. We're in the future now.
Great. Now they're gonna get in trouble, Alex.
I'm always getting in trouble.
Just gonna strike you down now.
Anyways, no. Guys,
we better get to this movie before it gets too late.
Wait, quickly. Will, tell us about your drink. It's easy this time. It's easy. It's breezy.
It is an easy drink.
Just whip it out of your mouth.
I figured it's 2021. It's 2021. Let's not go. Let's simplify it. This drink had actually a last minute name change. I'm calling it Men open bracket and ScarJo close bracket are trash. And it's just a sad 6-pack that you drink like Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Nice.
The 6-pack. Yeah. Hold on. I got to crack mine open.
I had a whole bit planned where I was going to have all this nice expensive beers that were really nice. And I had a 6-pack of them in my fridge and I drank them all last night. So my 6-pack is gone. And I'm also truly questioning my abilities. I'm like, oh man, I really have a problem, huh? Like I really just like.
Wait, so you don't have any beer for this?
I drank it all. I forgot entirely. I was like, why did I have this nice 6-pack?
So you're not getting drunk at 2 p.m. on a Sunday?
I'm thrilled to get drunk because I have to teach a writing class for Second City at 6 p.m. So looking forward to. Yeah.
Well, no 6-pack is the saddest 6-pack, so you did.
Yeah,
you, did
you are Bradley Cooper post Jennifer Connelly.
I got too drunk.
All right.
I was shit faced on like a 10% beer last night and was like, oh yeah. And then like went to sleep.
I'm trying to think. I'm going to advertise my beer because it's down the street from me and it's a local brewery.
Ooh,
it's called Left Field Brewery and they sell it at the coffee shop at Bathurst and Bloor. And the guy, when I bought it, the 6-pack, it was a little pricey. He said, thank you so much. I appreciate this so much. It's people like you that make things worthwhile.
Is that are they forced to say that? Like, welcome to Walmart? I know that
sort of thing. Yeah. So he like put a gun to my head and I was like, why are you pointing the gun at me?
Yeah.
The Left Field people are very nice people. I've met them a couple of times.
I feel guilty now.
They say that this drink pairs well with Reuben sandwiches and calamari.
That's so
such a specific pairing.
Wow.
Hold on, guys.
Eat them both at
some
the
shit in the
same
fridge.
time.
Cool. Yeah, sushi and sesame. This is great. Anyways.
All right.
Well, let's get to it. Alex and Alessandra, how does this movie start?
How does it
I spilled on myself immediately. Okay, how does it start?
Yeah.
I'll tell you how it starts. It starts with a little girl getting beaten up on the playground by a little boy.
What?
And then the mom kneels down.
And it goes downhill from there.
And the little girl goes, he pushed me. And the mom goes, you know why? And she goes, why? And he goes, because he likes you. Then the narration from Jennifer Goodwin comes in. Does it ever come back? I don't recall.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But you just tell people who there's like, we need, you know, like when you like refurb a building and you got to leave like one brick there. It's like them refurbing the Sex and the City episode and they got to leave one brick there and it's narration at the beginning of the lead woman.
True. Yes.
Yeah, because so guys, when I first saw this movie, I saw it in theaters with like 7 of my friends on Valentine's Day. It was a ride. People were screaming at the theater.
Just rites of spring happening at the he's just not that into you.
Huge laughs. People booed Bradley Cooper.
I'm so stressed.
Oh man.
What is this voiceover? What does she say? It's like so they have
says,
this girl getting beat to shit.
And that's when I knew.
Come on. So what is it, like a zoom out or something? And she's just like me.
It's a screen freeze. The screen freezes. And
Yeah,
the narration comes on top.
It is like the screen freeze record scratch. Like, I don't think you're wondering how I got here. Like it's like almost
basically
that level of like.
And my life's kind of crazy. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's basically just like, and that was the problem from the very beginning for all women, and now it's still like that. Basically, that's
and then it shows her like on a date or something. That's the next thing. Or
with Kevin Connolly.
Yeah,
Kevin Connolly. Yeah,
with my enemy.
I gotta Google him.
Fucking piece of shit with E from Entourage.
Like he's from Entourage.
He's just on a date.
He also was in The Notebook.
He's on a date. He just wants a fist in his face so bad. He's just he's just got this like punchable face.
Well, he's just a little rat. He's a little rat boy. He's just like
him and Pete Buttigieg have so much physicality
based off of how
common.
he looks or how he behaves. Oh no, how he
his
looks.
Voice. He's got that kind of ratty voice.
Oh,
and
I would say how he looks. He looks like Adam Levine's
I'd say Prince of the Rats.
Prince of the Rats.
Definitely no older than 13.
Yeah.
That's what
I would say I'm realizing now that like E from Entourage and Pete Buttigieg look so similar. Like they could be brothers, and I would believe it.
Don't say that. Like Pete Buttigieg.
No, he's. I thought we yelled about this in the podcast. He's.
But Alex, I still sometimes like centrists. You have to accept that about me.
Okay,
I
you
like them
sometimes.
sometimes.
Kevin Connolly and E from Entourage, and I thought they were the 2 different people, and I've just realized they are the same person. So thank you so much for confusing the shit out of me.
Woken up from a coma, and it's enchanting. I'm so grateful that you don't know about these things because what if I understood math if I didn't remember these things?
Yeah, that would just be horrendous.
But if I could do my taxes on my own, if I couldn't remember all the character and actor names on Entourage.
I'm so stressed. I'm not going to get any questions.
They didn't enjoy.
They end their date and he like leaves and it's like, oh, nice. And she gets his number and she's just confused as to whether or not he likes her or not, which is her problem. She doesn't know the signs yet.
It's not even that. Her real problem is that she cares about him liking her. No, he's cold. He's a cold fish and he's a fucking nerd.
Okay.
Yeah, because he walks away and she's like, oh, that's him probably leaving me a message at home, like a cute message. And he's actually phoning Scarlett Johansson. So he's phoning a whole other woman because that's who he really likes.
A whole entire woman he's calling.
Yeah.
And then we see ScarJo at a grocery store.
Yeah.
Waiting in line, and Bradley Cooper notices how awesomely hot she is and lets him butt her. It's literally like, what? They're both so stunning. It would have been like such a moment in a grocery store to see both of them. Like,
yeah.
But I would put that in this movie that the most 2009 two people could possibly be. Scarlett Johansson has the crazy hair extensions, and then Bradley Cooper has frosted tips. It was okay to have frosted tips.
And you know what? He doesn't look not good. Like, he looks hot.
Settle down. He looks fucking. It's the worst I've ever seen. It's the worst I've ever seen Bradley Cooper look in a movie ever.
No. You don't know. Guys, Bradley Cooper was in an episode of Sex and the City.
Kitchen Confidential, the TV show he did in 2000.
A Star is Born is up there too.
No, he's fuckable in A Star is Born. I get down.
Oh my God, he's the most fuck. I think that is his hottest look, even though he's his most destroyed.
Yeah. Would you fuck him with piss in his pants though?
Sure. Are these plot points of that movie?
No, that's A Star is Born.
That's Star is Born. That's actually a pretty big plot point.
Put that on the thing.
That was in the theaters, people gasped. They gasped.
They have a sex scene after he's just urinated in his pants.
No, that didn't happen.
There's barely any sex in A Star is Born, actually.
No,
it's very. My theory is that there's very little sex in A Star is Born because they're trying to hit like a Christian market in it as well.
True.
There is one very true to life moment where she is going to have sex with him in the hotel room. She goes to freshen up and she wipes her like vagina area in the bathroom, and I'm like, beautiful.
That's cute.
Like, thank you for some goddamn honesty. She was on a plane. She was singing on stage. She's going to be sweaty.
All right, you guys. Let's get back into the movie at hand.
So he lets like her cut in front of him because she's hot, and she happens to be like the number 600 or no, the 1,000th customer. That's what it was. So she wins like a cooler. It's like a water cooler. And she thinks it's fate that like he cut in front of her and she wins this thing. And so
I think
they like talk and flirt.
Yeah, and then Bradley Cooper gets in a car with Ben Affleck, and then it cuts to Scarlett Johansson talking to what's her face.
Yeah, well, he does reveal that he's married. They're like flirting, and he's like
to Drew Barrymore, right? Who's her friend? Is it Drew Barrymore?
Her friend is Drew Barrymore, but she's
Drew Barrymore is like such an enabler of such dangerous behavior throughout the entire movie.
Fantastic, as she is.
She's the one that puts all the. Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
She's the one, she calls her and she's like, I met this guy, but he's married. Twist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Bradley
Hold
Cooper's
on.
married.
Wait. Hold on. What? Scarlett Johansson is the friends with Drew Barrymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she was hitting on Drew Barrymore's husband?
That's shocking.
No.
No.
Scarlett Johansson. So Bradley Cooper reveals he's married, but he's a music producer. He like works in the music industry, and Scarlett Johansson is a singer-songwriter. Yeah.
So it is A Star is Born.
They decide they're going to keep in contact. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
That's how this is. Yeah.
It is A Star is Born.
Okay.
Oh my God. Do you think Bradley Cooper did this movie and went, one day I'll make my directorial debut?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
with
he
a
did.
remake of a remake of a remake of a
He's been chasing that high since 2009.
Yeah. So who's interested in the married man?
Star is Born, I will make.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, because they flirt and they have hot chemistry. I'm not going to lie. And then she goes to give him her number, and then he goes, I can't do this. I'm married.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he gets into the car with Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck's like, you shouldn't have gotten married, bro. And
no, Ben Affleck's not like that at all. He's the nicest guy in the movie.
He is, yeah.
He actually truly is the only person in the movie who shouldn't be like tried for war crimes. Like he's
the nicest guy.
But the thing is, he must have been paid by the word, because he doesn't even say anything. I think he just gives Bradley Cooper like a look.
Yeah.
And then Bradley Cooper goes like, what? It's all fine. It's good. And then they drive off.
Did you see her? That's literally what the whole thing is that he can't believe his eyes. Even though he's married to one of the most elegantly beautiful women in the world.
Yeah.
Who is it again?
Exactly.
It's
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly, yeah.
Yeah.
Her at the office. Okay, so Jennifer Connelly and Jennifer Goodwin and Jennifer Aniston. They're all Jennifers.
That's true.
They all work at the same office.
Okay, hold on. Look, the plot of He's Just Not That Into You is the least important part of He's Just Not That Into You.
It's true.
the what this movie and this is truly what this movie is scenes start, a very famous person walks into frame and then says that they love someone else. And another very famous person is emotionally abused because of it. It's just that for 2 hours.
It truly is.
It's long. It's a long movie.
So and it's just like the stories start intertwining, and it's just famous people being like, I want to fuck that other famous person. And so the thing is, like, the two central stories of it, because all this is detail that, like, truly I've forgotten. But the two central stories of it is Jennifer Goodwin is like super single and like wants to get married down so hard, which is dumb. Like, you're not going to have a good time with that kind of going into the thing with it. And then she meets Justin Long, who's a bar manager, who is like, thinks he knows everything about dating and just keeps telling her to be like, and honestly, like, his advice isn't horrid. Like, it's kind of like,
it's really sexist, Alex.
It is.
Well,
it's toxically sexist. But the woman, but Jennifer Goodwin, like, what she needs, she doesn't need some asshole telling her how to behave.
No, you're right.
She needs someone to shatter her ego, her illusion, and show her the truth that the patriarchy is a fucking lie and that she should be free. And Justin Long should be then executed in the street.
No. It's like most of Justin Long's advice, I would say, is pretty bad. But like some of it being like, don't chase down a guy who's not interested in you. Is like,
I'm glad we got the summary up front. Let's continue to the next scene.
I mean, that's the ending. I feel like we got to jump.
There's maybe a million scenes.
Yeah, that's
so
like this podcast. This podcast is if we go scene by scene, this podcast is longer than like 3 times longer than the movie. Because every scene requires like 20 minutes of context, and then the most famous person you've ever seen is just like, I hate you. Like, it's.
But can we talk about the fact, sorry, I don't know how this podcast is going to go, but I'm just going where my brain's going. We talk about the fact that Ben Affleck is doing a very sincere impression of his brother, Casey Affleck.
What does that mean?
Kind of is. Yeah,
he is, right? Yeah, and it makes me, unfortunately, 800% more attracted to Ben Affleck.
So Ben Affleck, like, I think the actual next scene after Bradley Cooper and him drive away is Ben Affleck gets home to his wife, who is Jennifer Aniston. And we find out, that's not the next scene.
They're not married.
Sorry. His partner.
That's a huge plot point.
Yes, that's the plot point.
Because they're in a very loving, equal partnership, and she is obsessed with the fact that they're not married, and apparently that's a deal breaker. Continue.
Yes, and Ben Affleck doesn't want to get married. He's like, we have a good thing. Why get married?
Yeah, they own property together.
Yeah. They've basically been together like, 10 years or something? Like
7 years.
7, yes, 7. Lucky number.
7-year itch.
And he doesn't want to get married, and she's cool with it.
Sure.
I guess inside she's not
cool with it.
But she's like, yeah, you're right. Marriage is dumb.
No, you're wrong. This is a wrong recap.
How have they been together for 7 years
and
they're not on the same page about that? How could they? That seems like
because I think he might have been like, eventually. Basically, her sister is getting married, and it's making her marriage crazy because it's her baby sister.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
The patriarchy. The patriarchy is alive and well.
And her baby sister is Jennifer Connelly, right?
No. Her baby sister is 2 random women. Jennifer Connelly works with her at the office. It's the elegant woman's office where they all wear really nice pants and they have the straightest hair known to man.
It is. I'm not 100% sure. What do they do at that office? It's not really explained.
They're ad people because they're like, did you get that copy in?
And
Jennifer Goodwin's like, no, I was obsessing over what Justin Long told me. Like, well, someone's got to do their job. And they're
I just feel like Hollywood has not had any other jobs but like ad agency and
publisher?
I guess yoga instructor. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yoga instructor.
It's always an ad agency.
Wait, hold on. Could we talk about how Scarlett Johansson seduces Bradley Cooper by just undressing in front of him?
We got to get to that scene.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
hold on.
Let's move along.
So I gave you the summary up front of Justin Long. The other story that kind of runs through it is Bradley Cooper obsesses over Scarlett Johansson and hides cheating on his wife with Scarlett Johansson from her.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't cheated yet, but he's emotionally cheating.
Yeah. Well, I was saying like, over the course of the movie, he cheats. So those are kind of the two.
He has sex with her, and also they have such an emotionally dramatic moment that the tone does not match the movie at all. And when Scarlett Johansson screams at him, "You are such a liar," it brought tears to my eyes of uncomfortableness because she was in it too hard.
Oh yeah.
Too hard. Also, anyways,
this whole movie is like feels a bit like watching a children's pageant where like everyone's like really just like happy they remembered their lines and cues and like there's no like actual acting occurring on screen.
That's true.
Except for Scarlett Johansson being mad at Bradley Cooper.
No. I have to distress with you. Jennifer Connelly has chosen a character
Jennifer Connelly,
that is so unlikable. She is like a Karen incarnate to the point where she has so her storyline, sorry, you're going to be so confused. Her storyline is that she's obsessed with renovating her house with Bradley Cooper, and she has Luis Guzman, who is her contractor. And Bradley Cooper is gaslighting her the entire movie because he's cheating on her and he's smoking. And both of those things he's saying he's not doing. And she's obsessed with the fact that she's catching him smoking. And there's a whole scene where she finds cigarettes and she, instead of blaming her husband, she blames the workers.
No. Bradley Cooper, she blames Bradley Cooper first. And Bradley Cooper yells at her being like,
gaslights her,
yeah. We have people coming in and out of the house all the time. Like, blame the workers. And I remember watching that being like, that's actually pretty, like, I would not have thought that lie. Like, I would have crumbled immediately.
He's ready to go. He knows how to lie.
Yeah.
And then she has this whole scene with Luis Guzman where she's like, are you sure you're not sneaking? And it's the most strange line reading of anything you've, like, I wish you could watch this movie.
Well,
honestly, I'm going to tell you right now,
she's talking to her
I've
husband.
already made up my mind that I'm most likely going to watch this, provided it's on Netflix, because I'm so fucking lost right now. I can't take these tidbits and move forward with my life. I just can't. So I know I'm going to need to watch the movie after this.
You'll watch it and be like, you realize the impossible task we were set up with.
It's true.
To explain.
Did you guys choose the movie?
We never explained why we chose the movie. We chose this movie because when I first met Alex, for some reason, this is one of the first pieces of information I remember about you. Is you're like, I love he's just not that into you.
Oh no. And do you want me to, and here's I do, but here's the thing. Do you want me to explain why I love it?
Yes,
like,
please.
I think like it's from this period of time where for some reason everyone had dating systems in movies and TV shows. There's like How I Met Your Mother. It's all like downhill of like pickup artists. And I think if you have someone pitch to you a dating system, it reveals so much more about the person pitching you the system than it does about the validity of whatever system they're pitching you. And he's just not that into you is such a interesting person that's pitching me this because they're so like obsessed with their own independence, but they can't achieve it. And so I love this movie because it's like, it's very funny in how it's like, this is so high-minded bullshit, but it's very funny in how it's like it's one person telling you they're so independent with one hand and with the other hand desperately clawing at people.
It's because the system of he's just not that into you is living within a broken system of patriarchy. And it thinks that it's figured out sexism. Like it thinks that this is a very progressive, pro-feminist ideal. And they mean that sincerely. And Justin Long's character is sincere. And he thinks, but what it all is like, as a woman, just you have no autonomy. You are at the whim of how a man feels about you. And it's such a dangerous and upsetting thing because yes, the idea of like not giving someone time who doesn't like you is a good idea. But the fact that we don't look at the nugget of like, that just means that women have no say in anything. The fact that never entered anyone's mind, who's writing an entire fucking book and then entire movie about it. Yeah. And then to not even mention that fact. Yeah. They don't even mention that. And that it never crossed their minds. And so many people had their eyes on this. Is such a sad state of like what women have to deal with. It's so upsetting.
Yeah. And so that's why I love it. I think it's such an interesting.
There you go.
That's so interesting. Yeah. That's so fat. Like,
so wait. Was my me calling you misogynist was actually a little bit true.
Yeah, then? Alex is a misogynist.
I mean, it's like the best I could think of it is like, I went from one high-minded jump to another extremely other high-minded jump. Is that this is like the rejection of Marxism of being like, yeah. Stay with me. Okay. The rejection of Marxism of being like, like a capitalist, like Marxism saying the capitalist system is broken, that we can have a more equitable system, and whether or not you agree or disagree with it on finer points, that doesn't matter. But the way it's rejected is being like, no, the system's fine. We should try these different versions that work within this broken system, which is very similar to kind of how like he's just not into you is like, no. We don't need to change how a patriarchal system works. We can find a way to work within it. And it's just like, no, you can't. Like, you just can't. You can't. But you're delusional. And it's revealing so much about you that you think you can do this and how you think you can do this.
Yeah, and like that Greg Bernhardt dude.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you? How did no one in him workshopping this as like a stand-up bit, consulting on Sex and the City, selling the book, then selling the movie rights? No one was like, but who the fuck are you? Who are you?
He looks like he's a bowling enthusiast.
He looks like Mark McGrath. He looks like the lead singer of Sugar Ray.
Yeah. He looks like Sugar.
I just want to say, our last episode, we talked like a ton about bukkake. And now with these topics, I don't know if we've gained an audience or lost our audience. But
I hope you've lost an audience.
I guarantee you that I've showed up and been like, the rejection of Marxism. It's like, boom, delete. Like,
this is why our audience, some weeks we have such good numbers and some weeks it's like 60. And I'm telling you, it's because of our inflammatory feelings that I will never budge on.
No, we will not.
We're right and everyone else is fucking wrong.
If you want a good summation of our podcast, listen to the Sex and the City episode because I think about 10 minutes
8 minutes? Yeah.
8 minutes in. If you jump to 8 minutes, you hear both me and Vite screaming about Obama's drone strikes. Like screaming.
Because Sex and the City is capitalism. And so it does conflict. Like, look, we can get into
we're too deep.
This movie is center right. I wouldn't say it's all the way right, but it's center right. That's all.
It's Pete Buttigieg, right? Yeah.
It's Pete Buttigieg. He's not right. Is he right?
No, I would argue I would argue the center was
maybe
right.
A bit of right, yeah.
If he wasn't gay, he'd be right. I
think you're conflating an identity with it.
I think I've come up with a solution, and we talked about this for Love Actually, but I think we should just go through each character's storyline, beat by beat, not beat by beat, but quickly, so we can finish off Bradley Cooper's storyline.
Are we breaking your podcast right now? Have we broken it?
A little bit broken. Good. But no worries about that.
That's what we do.
And then we'll go to the next. That'll be faster than trying to remember what happens next.
Yeah.
Right. Might be easier for me to digest too.
Yeah. So does this all help you understand the movie more? Or
do you get what you're getting into? Because the colors and cinematography, beautiful.
Right.
Honestly, yeah. I was watching. I was like, man, whoever was directing this actually knew where to put a camera.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. It's not flashy. It's just it's not flashy. It's just kind of like
it's like a good episode of Sex and the City.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, Bradley Cooper has ScarJo's phone number. She phones him because she's like, I don't give a shit if he's married.
No, she's been given bad intel from Drew Barrymore.
From Drew Barrymore, yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not answering this. I'm not, or not. He does answer, but he's like, no, I can't do this. But then he phones her back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then
no, he goes to a yoga class that she does.
Yeah, right. There's a whole scene where he's in the yoga class. Like he just shows up to her yoga class she's teaching and like is there and is like too dude bro-y for the yoga class. But she's like, ooh, do you want to go swimming with me? And then they have a nude swimming scene.
Yeah, like, she gets naked in front of him and they agree that he's allowed to be friends with her because married people can be friends. And then she's like, okay, cool.
Hilarious.
And then she takes off her clothes and swims. Oh yeah.
So hold on a second. So
Scarlett Johansson, yeah.
She now is definitely wanting to date a married man. Yes, we can agree on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And then
because Drew Barrymore told her that there's a story that she could end up with him, that he'll leave his wife for her.
Okay. So, but then she's upsetty spaghetti when this married man is dating her and is still married.
No.
Okay, never mind. We'll get to it.
Later.
Yes? Okay.
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It all goes down in his office. They were like saved on set pieces.
All goes down in his office. And both Scarlett Johansson and Jennifer Connelly are so beautiful. And Bradley Cooper must have just lost his mind.
Right.
Yeah, because Bradley Cooper looks like a fucking pile of shit in this movie.
Yeah.
Like Bradley Cooper in this movie is batting above his weight class. Like
no,
twice.
He's so hot. You don't know how.
You don't know.
Well, so he like helps her like produce music, or like she brings her demo into his like studio, and then they do some more flirtation.
Something.
But
then it honestly doesn't matter. We get to his office after like something good has happened, and they start like making out in the office, and then like
this is the first time they're like making out and stuff.
No. We've seen that they have. Okay, so then they have sex, and we see like the moment after they sleep together, and then that's where we kind of just know that they're together. And then does anything and all while so Jennifer Connelly's storyline plays into this storyline, because while this is all happening, Jennifer Connelly is like renovating the house. Bradley Cooper is lying to her both about not smoking and having an affair on her. She's getting more and more suspect. So it's making her go crazy. So she decides she's going to go to his office in stunning lingerie. And she's going to seduce him. This is at the same time that he's currently making out with ScarJo.
She does seduce him, but this is after, when they're at Home Depot, he admits that he did sleep with someone else. But because they're married and she's like, we need to like fix this. Like she stays with him. She knows that he's cheated, but like he acts like it's over, like it's not happening anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And then she shows up at his office thinking that, again, I feel like this is like obviously a man wrote this. So like, oh, I just need to wear lingerie and have sex with him in his office, and then he won't have sex with anyone else.
But Scarlett Johansson is currently in his closet in his office because they were just like making out. Sex. Right. And then he comes, and then he somehow gets Jennifer Connelly out of his office. I forget how.
They fully have sex.
They do.
That's what I was saying.
And then she leaves, and
then the exact opposite of a porno happens. She comes out of the closet like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, she loses her shit, and it brings
an energy to a movie that has not previously been in this movie.
So
no. She was still living in her match point days
because he had sex with his wife.
She was trapped in a closet while Bradley Cooper was having sex with his wife.
Right. Okay.
But
just fucking idiot.
Hold on.
Yeah. No, all around.
But can we just talk about how Bradley Cooper, like, bravo the penis of Bradley Cooper to perform under that kind of stress.
Yeah. Oh,
he is a Superman, and I
don't know if I would give it that much credit. I think it's probably quite easy to have any man do that.
No.
Are you sure?
If this was happening to me
at that age, is it like once you're in your mid-30s?
No.
It's a lot more stress than
no.
Can you guys paint the picture better to understand how much stress is under him and his penis right now?
So he's
making out. Hold on, go from the beginning. He's making out with ScarJo. There's a knock at his door. It's his wife. He shoves her into the closet. Jennifer Connelly comes, starts to seduce him. In his mind, he's like, oh boy, if I don't have sex with her right now, she's going to be suspicious. He sleeps with her. ScarJo is listening to this. He has sex to the completion with Jennifer Connelly. And then Scarlett Johansson pops out of the closet and loses her mind in what could only be described as a like Academy Award like gunning for it performance.
Yeah.
Not winning, just gunning.
It was definitely up for it, I think. Yeah.
Gunning.
So you're like, how did the penis, how, like anyone's penis perform with that? What are you talking about? Of like, if I was in that situation and like already I'm in too deep, like I'm too anxious already to be cheating. So already like I've already fucked up.
You're
like,
already for anybody in your life.
Well, that's, I guess. I mean, I would say it'd be the type of person that's in that mindset to be able to cheat. Obviously, doesn't give a shit though.
You make a very
he
good
obviously
point.
Doesn't care for either of their feelings.
Okay, so maybe his thing is that stress and anxiety makes his boner come.
Maybe.
As opposed to makes it go away. That actually is a thing. Yeah,
right. I like this. I like this. I like
that's what it is. That's what it is. You know what? He gets no credit. It's just his kink.
Yeah. Yeah.
No credit. No credit.
Because
much better.
If it was me, Scarlett Johansson would just hear in the closet like, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. It's just, you got a lot of work to do.
Full panic attack. It would never have gotten to that point. I would have been like, everyone stop. Scarlett Johansson, come out. Jennifer Connelly here. I'm out. And then run away.
You're just like in a different country in the next like scene.
So like that's the end. Like Scarlett Johansson.
I have one more point about this is that
about the penis,
Scarlett Johansson's mostly naked when they put her in the closet, and then when she comes out of the closet,
naked.
And when it comes out of the closet after the sex, she's still that naked and struggles to put her dress on. And I'm like, how quick was the sex? Or like you weren't like, I'm going to put this clothes back on. Like we just like at some point I'm going to jump out.
Because listen, maybe she didn't want to make a movement in the closet. I get that.
But also at one point, like I guess she was just like, I don't want his wife to know. Yeah. I guess it's true because she chose to be a mistress.
Let's stop what the story is. And the true reality is they wanted Scarlett Johansson a little bit naked before and a little bit naked after.
Yes, exactly.
And that is the sad truth of everything.
Yeah.
Which really plays into the themes of this movie.
Oh, it plays in hugely.
So he does get Jennifer Connelly out and she leaves with a renewed sense of their marriage. Yes, they are saved. But then she immediately finds cigarettes, like a big pack of cigarettes in his pocket, and that's when she realizes, oh, he's just a big dirtbag fucking liar. Like I shouldn't believe anything he says.
Here's one of the most special moments of the movie that really encapsulates gender roles. She gets really upset when she sees that and smashes this beautiful mirror and she screams. And then she leaves the room and she comes back and she cleans up the mess she made.
I just realized she also smashes a beautiful mirror in A Beautiful Mind, which is a movie we did with Jennifer Connelly.
That's I feel like that's everything. The fact that is the definition. So that's what proves that the makers of this movie were so heteronormative, so gender roles, all that stuff, that they think of details like that, but not the details that this whole thing is extremely misogynistic.
Which, like, genuinely, I thought it was very funny because of what you're describing.
Funny.
Because of what you're describing. Of like, what's funny about it is that, like, she's not going to keep living in this house, but she's like, I got to clean up these fucking, like, I got to keep the house. I'm not going to live in it anymore clean. Like, it's like, there's something very funny about that. And
she's not living in the house
funny
anymore.
Is the wrong word.
Yeah.
So wait, what do you mean?
No, she's living there.
Like,
they're going to sell the house because it's very clearly that their marriage is over. Alex is making a leap that the movie doesn't give. But
that's what I enjoyed about it. That's what I thought was fun. You're saying I love this movie. I love this movie because of stuff like that. Like it's
what is it? It's chaotic evil. What is that? Is it like chaotic neutral, chaotic blah blah blah? Yeah. This movie is chaotic evil.
It's both chaotic in structure, tone, and theme. Like it's pure something violently upsetting about this
very
movie.
Evil theme. I think it's a very evil movie. If I were to, I love that this is what we needed to do. You know what though? We also looked at the list of movies and were overwhelmed, and I was like, let's fucking do He's Just Not That Into You.
Yeah, I was like, great choice.
Well, so she leaves a note for him. He comes home and he sees a note, and it's just like, what does he say? The cigarettes, and the note just says, knock yourself out. By the way, I want a divorce. Or P.S. I want a divorce.
Nice.
Which and honestly, I like that. That's actually the best part of the movie. Mm-hmm. Knock yourself out.
That's true.
Really feels it's like literally a death wish on him because her dad died from smoking. That's why she's so anti-smoking.
Right. Yes.
And then that kind of sums up their story.
Yeah, he ends up back at the grocery store buying a 6-pack.
Yes, and then at the very end of the movie, they do kind of a where are they now? And he's just the biggest loser. He is the biggest loser. He's very much, is he on a boat or something? Or
I don't know, but it's like weird. They're suddenly like looking at like who's filming this, and they're looking at the camera like it's a reality show now.
Yeah, then the tone shifts. We've totally negated the fact that throughout the movie it's marked by chapters, and then there's little monologues, kind of like When Harry Met Sally. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
When Harry Met Sally styles, but instead of cute couples talking, it's like people who are single. And can I say that the best part of the movie are those two women realizing that they've been broken up with, thinking that they ended every relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
That is actually, not only is it a good point of view, but they're very funny. I don't know. That's my one actual. They deserve like a sincere good job award. That's all.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, describing this movie is impossible because I was like, oh yeah, we forgot about the chapters. There's just like the end of the movie is people the characters talking directly to the camera of a documentary that was never mentioned until now.
ScarJo and Bradley Cooper, not an important part of the movie. The more important part of the movie is Jennifer Goodwin and Justin Long, and we've barely talked about it.
We will be getting because we finished Ben Affleck. We finished Bradley Cooper. Let's move on to Ben Affleck. Let's do Ben Affleck and Jennifer
doesn't
Aniston.
Want to get married. Yeah. Jennifer Aniston gets mad at Ben Affleck because of Jennifer Goodwin saying like, you're not the exception, you're the rule. He's not going to marry you. And then it ends with Ben Affleck marrying Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. Because what happens is,
and that's it. That's all it is.
Her dad, at the sister's wedding, where they're at the sister's wedding. I think this bears.
So Jennifer Aniston breaks up with Ben Affleck for a brief period, and she goes to her sister's wedding.
Even though she's in an extremely healthy, loving relationship, she wants to get married. It's very important to her. And it's not that he doesn't want to marry her. He just doesn't like marriage. Yeah, and he's very chill and laid back, and he owns a boat because he's supposed to be the ideal man. And women are crazy for wanting anything else from a man.
And he's got a big back tattoo.
You know, a man wrote this when it's like, what's the perfect man? Owns a boat. Owns
a fucking boat. So then she goes to her sister's wedding where a supremely disturbing speech happens where the cousin the cousin of these women is saying how he literally says the lines, our cousin getting married is so effing hot, and then goes on to explain how sexy his cousins are. And then Jennifer Aniston gets a lot of grief at that wedding for not being married and blah blah blah. And then her dad,
an old model,
and then her old model, and then her dad at the wedding has a heart attack, which causes everyone to have to stay and take care of him. This is like the day after the wedding. And all the husbands of the sisters are pieces of shit losers who do fuck all. And all the women are working overtime. And Ben Affleck, who Jennifer Aniston has broken up with, is there helping her, is cleaning dishes and doing shit like out of the blue. And then she realizes, I don't need to be married. I just need a good man. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the movie, he proposes to her. And I'm so conflicted by this storyline because it's kind of demonizing Jennifer Aniston, but Jennifer Aniston has needs that Ben Affleck refuses to meet.
One of those needs is him throwing out cargo pants, which is a big plot point. So
but I would also put to you is like, I agree with your point on that, but it's like, I think like Jennifer Aniston, like in the framing of the movie, at least reaches at growth. At the very least reaches at growth and kind of like look and kind of like, and I think then sees a little bit why Ben Affleck doesn't want to marry him. But here's the problem is we don't see Ben Affleck's reach at growth. Because Ben Affleck shows up and it's just like, whatever you want, babe. And so that's why we kind of like throw it away. I think if we saw both sides reach at growth, I think you would see like an actual this movie would have an actual opinion that wasn't entirely toxic about. It
just makes me so sad that the reason why she thinks Ben Affleck is good is not because he's good. It's because other men are so bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But and that's upsetting.
I would argue
I think in relationships, honestly, there's so like relationships literally are two people that never get along or not never get along, but you aren't going to agree on everything. It's about how you work through shit, right?
Sure. Compromise.
But when you're in a relationship with somebody for so long, you have to, I find people will always look outside and compare. And that's exactly what I would say was being illustrated.
But what it's also, that is really good. That's exactly right. But also I think that what that's showing is that women, you got to stop being so crazy, and then men will give you what you want. So girls, stop being so marriage crazy. And guess what? Give up that dream, and then someone's going to ask you to marry you. And there is a truth to that, of like letting something go and stop holding on to things so tight. But this is so like, girl, stop being crazy. You're so crazy. Like, it's so awful.
This is like one of the last things of the movie. So it's after you've like watched Gigi, Justin Long's story and like Bradley Cooper's story to then like,
we'll get to.
Don't worry, this is what this is how stuff goes well. And it's like,
right.
What? Like it just hits
this
wrong.
Is the perfect relationship right here.
You know when you like eat like a lemon and then like have something, or it honestly, it's like orange juice and toothpaste, where both toothpaste and orange juice taste fine separately, but then getting the one after the other, you're like,
Alex, you should be eating toothpaste, bro.
Alex, stop eating toothpaste. It's so wrong. But it's also this thing of like Jennifer Aniston finally stops struggling and just gets ready to die in her relationship, and then something good happens for her.
We also just see this one like relative sliver in a 7-year relationship that I don't think really exists, if that makes sense. Like for 7 years, it's not like Jennifer Aniston. It's Jennifer Aniston suddenly talking about marriage now, or she brought it up for 7 years.
I think it's like she's suddenly talking about it now because her baby sister is getting married, and we are supposed to understand that her family is marriage crazy.
Yeah, and also Gigi had an epiphany of some sort.
Yeah, and Gigi's a little jerk. I was gonna say bitch, but I don't like referring to women as I don't like referring to bitch boys as bitches.
Well, all right, so that's their storyline. Yeah, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston, they are together. They weren't together for a bit. Now they're married. That's their storyline. Next, I think we should do Scarlett Johansson.
ScarJo?
Kind of ScarJo's
hater.
Mixed with, why don't we do ScarJo and Drew Barrymore?
Drew Barrymore mixed with Kevin Connolly. Yeah, all three of those are kind of intertwisted. So
the worst storyline.
This is the worst. This is probably the hardest one for me to follow too.
Yeah. Well, basically, Kevin Connolly, after he leaves his date with Gigi, phones Scarlett Johansson, and they have a weird, like, they hook up, and he wants to be more.
No, they don't hook up. It's that she uses him. She uses him to feel he is her self-esteem.
Yeah.
Whenever she feels shitty, and because this movie was written by a man, and so whenever whenever she needs self-esteem, she calls him, and she had sex with him one time 3 years ago, and he's holding on to that.
Never seen a platonic relationship where they kiss on the mouth before they leave.
Well, because she's written so insanely. Like, I don't know a single whatever. Okay. Anyways, I'm opening beer number 2.
This is like a tough to follow story that also, like, I've nearly entirely forgotten, but it does involve that, like, E from Entourage sells houses. That's important for some reason.
Yeah, and he's working with an ad agency, a different one than Jennifer Aniston. It's a gay ad agency that Drew Barrymore works for. Yeah, and she's been on the phone with him for a while, but they've never met. Kevin Connolly and Drew Barrymore. Just talking on the phone,
and then they're just trying to promote him as a house salesman. And then after because like also like the Bradley Cooper Scarlett Johansson thing that comes about halfway through the movie, and then now E from Entourage and Scarlett Johansson are like E because let's give an actual go at this, and Scarlett's broken down enough that she's like, yeah, why not? Like,
because she just had that horrible experience being stuck in the closet.
Yeah. She's broken down enough to be like, yeah, why not? And then they like are like dating and fucking now. And then he really steps his game up and is like, I'm going to buy this house with you. Do you want to live with me? And it's like in the timeline of the movie, it's been about a month.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, he's the worst. He is like, okay. His character is a thing of the early 2000s. You know, like, did you ever watch Grey's Anatomy?
No.
Oh, yeah.
He's like George Bailey from, is it George Bailey? Is that a different character?
O'Malley. George O'Malley.
George Bailey is from It's a Wonderful Life. He's George O'Malley from where it's this thing where we're supposed to feel bad for men who don't get the girl and they have a crush. But it's this thing of like, just because you have a crush on someone does not mean that person owes you a relationship.
No,
and it's
true.
a total stereotype. And he is this, and we're supposed to feel for him and think that he is the romantic, sensitive lead.
It's written like that totally. And but I will say, like, kind of like, I guess George had a little bit of moments, but anyway, this movie never has that moment where he gets like angry and a dick about it.
George is a bad character, just FYI.
A little bit.
Yeah, he's a bad character.
I love him, but he is.
Well, look back.
And so they never have that moment where he's just like, they don't have the 500 Days of Summer moment where Joseph Gordon-Levitt just fucking freaks out. Like, what is this? Why are we doing this? He never does that. He just accepts that she never loves him in the end.
It is this weird morphing of misogyny. So in the 90s, we thought we were post-sexism, post-racism. And the early 2000s, there is this type of male hero of like, he's the sad sack and we should feel so bad for him that this woman's not loving him back. What the fuck? And it's like completely making sure that women don't have any say in their life. And it's just so, it is the 500 Days of Summer effect for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, you're really like, you're blowing my mind. Yeah. It's really upsetting. There's so many mixed messages.
Yeah. So he
them
walks into this.
Oppressed.
Yeah. They go into this house and he's like, you want to do it? And she's very emotional because she does like him, like as a person. She's like, you are a really good friend to me. But he's like, I'm not in love with you. This is not what I want. And he just kind of accepts it and they hug. They like hug at the end. It seems nice.
She wears really nice Levi's jeans that are like way before their time of being trendy. And it's just like really important that you understand that about her character.
Yeah.
And her hair is like a really good platinum blonde. That's all.
Yeah. She brings heat to this house showing.
Yeah.
So that's the end of her storyline where she's like, I'm just going to be me. I don't think she says that.
Yeah, we see her singing in a bar.
You see her singing in the bar. And at the very end, it's just her in a kitchen. Like, I'm just going to focus on my music. And it's like, what? Like,
she's the villain, though. She's supposed to be the loser. Like, we're supposed to look at her and be like, what a loser.
I mean,
she should have been with E.
That's
she
why
gets
the
punched. She gets punched on the absolute shit show that is Bradley Cooper's office to then be stuck with this worm is
Okay. I'm going to say something that may be totally lost on everyone, but her character, I feel like, is based off of the music video, What Goes Around Comes Around, which she played, which is the Justin Timberlake music video where she has an affair on Justin Timberlake and then dies brutally in a car crash because that's what you fucking deserve if you cheat on Justin Timberlake. And this character is based off of that music video. That is all.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Namaste. Namaste.
So then, meanwhile, Drew Barrymore is also looking for love, and she complains about the fact that like, then we leave messages, but then there's emails, and then we text each other. There's so many means of communication.
MySpace plays a big role. Yeah,
yeah. And so she's like online dating kind of, and there's a scene where she gets like a message from this guy who like sings her a song, and she's like, "Oh, this is great." And then she gets another message from him where he accidentally phoned her phone instead of another girl's phone, where he sings the same song but puts the other girl's name in it. So she's down on herself, and her only man that she really talks to and communicates with is Kevin Connolly over the phone.
And then at the end, they
something?
Yeah.
Oh no, say your thing first.
Just at the end, they're at a diner, and over the phone, they're sitting at different tables of the diner, and like Drew Barrymore is like, let's start dating, and then they're like, that's kind of how it ends. It really doesn't add up. Like everything about
because
like this storyline doesn't
they're like, she's the female version of that, of what E is.
Sure.
she's the female version. But can I say something? There is an unfortunate true element to Drew Barrymore's character in dating. There's something that rings hideously true, which is this thing of like, if you're dating in modern times, you do have to be passive if you want to get anywhere online. I'm not saying in like real life, but if you want to play it cool, you got to play it cool online. And Drew Barrymore's character is an unfortunate tale of things to come because she's pre-Tinder, but the way she's written and behaving, it's like she's on Tinder.
Right.
True.
That is all. Yeah. What this movie has made me very upset. I'm upset right now.
Seriously.
I am so angry because I took in so much romantic comedies as like a prepubescent woman, lady girl, that it's affected, like this misogyny has affected relationships. And it's not that movies did that. It's just the culture did that. But it's just like very upsetting seeing it played out and watching it at this age.
It's a very distilled version of it too.
Yeah, it's just really upsetting because all I am right now is going on Tinder and getting sexually harassed. So I just want to like maybe give this podcast to anyone who says something disgusting on the Tinder to me and be like, enough said. Yeah. If you can hang with me at this.
Yeah, you can get some listeners because Vite loves a Tinder.
Don't get me started. Last night, someone asked me if I had mommy issues, and I was like, "Goodbye. I hope you die." And then
let's get to the main event.
Yeah,
I can't ever remember Jennifer Connelly. No,
that's her Gigi. Jennifer Goodwin.
Gigi. Another Jennifer. Another Jennifer.
Gigi and J Long.
Yeah.
Isn't it Gigi?
Gigi is this wild person. Like Gigi is like if you talk to her for 5 minutes, she thinks you're married,
right?
And is going to like chase you down. And then that is kind of what they set up. I don't remember exactly how, but that is. But there's a whole thing where she's like, oh, this guy who broke up with me, so we'd have every Friday, so he'd have his weekends free. I was so delusional. I kept saying that we were married. And there's like a line from the movie, and it's like, and everyone's like, and everyone around her is like, that's fine. That isn't the appropriate thing to say. Like no one like halts it at any point.
She needs that advice. If anyone in the movie needs the advice, she needs it because she has completely given up on anything about her personality of what she likes and has put her entire life into the hands of any man that will pay attention to her.
Right.
And this is not her fault. This is the patriarchy's fault, but we are to believe that she has free will. Continue.
We are to believe.
I am depressed right now.
It sounds like it.
I upset myself. Continue.
So the guy, the E from Entourage, has a date with at the very beginning of the movie is friends with Justin Long and says like he hangs out at this bar, and so she goes to try and show up at this bar to like serendipitously like run into E from Entourage, which is
not a bad move. That's not a bad move.
No, it's a terrible move. Don't let.
It's not a bad move.
You can't go on for like we're an hour and a half into this thing, and you've been an hour and a half of being like, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare.
You have a crush on someone.
She had one fucking date. The crush was
you have a crush on someone. You don't just show up to where you think they might be, and then it's a stage.
But I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, that's not a bad move. I think everybody does that. It's not a terrible move. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I've switched. When I get a little bit drunk, I'm pro patriarchy.
You're 2 beers away from being like, everyone needs a wife. Like
I just want to be married. I wish I didn't have to work anymore.
So this reminds me of, I think I have video. I think I have video of you in the Comedy Bar green room.
Oh yes.
In 2019. Just being what was it? What was your plan for 2020? Was it get married or have a baby?
I was going to get married in 2019.
Yeah,
I said I'm getting married this year, and everyone's like, "You shouldn't. You don't know anybody yet." And I was like, "Don't worry about it. I am how you say hammered, and it's a good time. It's a good time."
But she shows up to this bar. And then Justin Long is like, "Oh, don't call him. Like, just like, and like gives like honestly, like here's the insidious part is like that first advice of being like, oh, like he's he's not into you. Like, don't waste your breath on this.
She needs to chill the fuck out.
Yeah. He's like the season part is like, that is like, that's what I'm like, it's not all bad advice. Like that first advice is good advice for her.
But he is an unreliable advice giver.
Yeah, that's the point. Is that then it does the one. It is one good step to be like, oh, then everything he says is good. And then as it goes on, it's just.
But then he doesn't even do the things he says, right? Because he basically says that guys will do everything if they're into you. They will ask you out. They will do this. They will do that.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about it. But if they don't, then he's not into you. Forget about that person.
Which is like, there's so many different sides to that, because it's like. Maybe they will. Dependent. That is, it's person dependent. But it's also this thing of like asking men to like have zero responsibility. It's like, don't worry if you treat her like shit. It's because you don't really want to marry her. You'll treat the one you want to marry well. Don't practice before. Don't rev yourself up. Don't learn how to be monogamous. Fuck around, and then lightning will strike you, and you'll behave properly.
Right.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so angry. I hate gender roles. Anyways.
So she develops this little like relationship with Justin Long where she's constantly phoning him while she's on dates. Like, oh, he said this. What do I do?
Oh, man.
And he, for some reason, is just like, well, not for some reason, because he's also a little bit into her, is just giving her advice. No matter what the situation is, the bar is packed or he's making out with a woman on the couch, he's stopping everything to give her advice.
He's making out with a supermodel and answers the phone. And I found that particularly abhorrent in a movie full of hideous things. Like, imagine if you're deep making out with someone who, quite frankly, is way out of his weight class.
Oh God, yeah.
And he stops to be like, oh, shut up. Hello?
And then it's like and what's the thing? Oh, her thing is like, he says he's going out of business for the week, and then he won't really be able to reach him.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, then leave. He's not interested.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like, well, where he's going, and then the guy goes, oh, Philadelphia, or no, Pittsburgh. I'm going to Pittsburgh, and they laugh because the movie is based in Baltimore. We didn't say that, but
Baltimore is actually like Sex and the City. Baltimore is the fifth character of the movie.
just right between Jennifer Connelly and Bradley Cooper. Like, Baltimore. Baltimore storyline is wild. Like, Baltimore storyline is gang violence.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. This is the whitest section of Baltimore. We are accepting 0.2% of the population of Baltimore.
I just realized, there's like no people of color other than the one gay guy and the two ladies and Luis Guzman.
Luis Guzman, who, good for him, because I think he fucking killed it in his part. He's so funny.
Yeah.
But I feel so bad that he had to accept that role.
Here's the thing about Luis Guzman, is that his whole part is just him saying that the guys I work with who are building your house, they're good guys. They don't smoke on the job, which, having worked warehouses and construction and whatnot, of like, they fucking do. Everyone does. Like, that is not like that does not relate to the quality of guy. That is just you are outdoors. You work a shit job. That, like, as far as shit jobs go, the best paying shit job you're gonna get, that might be union, who knows? And just like,
yes, union. We're very pro union.
We're back to Marxism. No, but it's the idea that like they're good guys because they don't smoke that to me is the funniest part of like whoever wrote this.
He's so good in that scene, though.
He's great in it, but whoever wrote this has only ever worked in ad agencies, which shows because everyone's job is ad.
Oh my God, I actually can't fucking believe that there's two different ad agencies within this movie and a real estate agent. It is just the upperest of middle class you could ask for.
Are we
done yet? I'm
almost.
Done
we're
with
almost
this movie.
there. So she's developed this relationship with Justin Long, and then it clicks to her. She's like, because the whole movie she's like talking about, I got to read the signs, I got to find the signs where a man's into me, and she realizes, she sees all the signs in Justin Long. He's into her, and he invites her to this party, this big party, and she's like, ooh, like I'm his date at this party. And you get there, and there's all these people there, and then she's like helping out, trying to like make shit and clean dishes.
Making
almost
sure to play her gender role of a woman who helps clean up and cook.
When she like clicks it like to show us or either in the character's mind, whatever you want to do, is she's going to clean and make the party as well. And then she also starts like telling people that like she helped plan the party with Justin Long.
Oh yeah. She's a little psycho.
Yeah, she's like a little psychopath.
Little sociopath.
And like people at the people like
I'm
the
not
party
on her side.
the party's like ending. Like there's like everyone's left except for Justin Long at this very like a supermodel. And then she's like has a bag of garbage and like Justin Long's kind of like, hey, like trying to get her out the door, and she's
cock blocking real hard.
Real hard, and kind of kicks out this supermodel, and then throws herself at Justin Long, and Justin Long's like, "What are you doing? I invited you to a party because you're my friend," and
there is a little bit of a weird, it's like an indication that he does this to a lot of women, because there's another girl there who's like, Justin, he asked me to get these things I'm doing that. You're making the popcorn. I was going to make the popcorn.
making sure women are working for him. Also like acting as though he has no idea that Jennifer Goodwin would be into him at all. Like it's so shocking to him.
Shocking.
These are villains in this movie.
They pretty much are.
Villains on villains, because Jennifer Goodwin is not a good person either. So
and so she throws herself at Justin Long. They have a big like kind of breakup thing. And then you see Justin Long like pining for her at the bar. And so the only, I think, actual...
Like he's like, I'm in love for the very first time.
Because she ignores him, right? Is that the thing? Yeah. It's to play the game. It's basically, this is the game.
Cool.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Good.
Side story is Busy Phillips is a waitress there who also likes Justin Long for a brief period of time. They had sex,
Yeah, and she has maybe two scenes.
Sex, and then he was confused as to why she would maybe want to see him again. They've been working together for years, and then they finally have sex, and then he's shocked that she shocked. Oh man, I am
flabbergasted.
Fucking pissed off.
I actually don't understand how this made it to screen. I'm so confused.
That's why I love it's so fascinating.
Because it's the only movie that's telling the truth. That's why I came to screen, because it's showing us it's a mirror to society.
It's because also like we described this movie, and I think you're picturing a much cheaper movie than it is. Like it's like the IATSE showed up. Like the craft is
Alex.
like I'm just saying like everything like looks nice. The sets are good. It looks like it's got a budget, and it had a budget. Like all these massive actors.
Yeah.
All these massive actors, and it had a budget, but it is like at every step, the question of why was this made
because of Sex in the City.
Yeah,
because of Sex in the City. Yeah,
and like it has subtlety. It has no. It has a lot to say, but what it has to say is extremely poisonous. Not poisonous in like
in 2009. It was considered good sense.
Well, I mean, like this came out like around the same time as How I Met Your Mother. It came out around the same time as like I Hope You Serve Beer in Hell, or like all the other
that fucking movie.
I Hope You Serve Beer in Hell.
Yeah.
I forgot that was such a traumatic movie experience.
This came out like around the same time as like that was the romantic comedies, like stoner goofy comedies.
It's the 2000s thinking they're post sexism, post racism, post everything. And now, and men being like, can you believe that we got away with this? Now let's infiltrate our ideas. And so the guy that wrote the game or the rules or whatever it is, like so many men in Hollywood must have read that book. And then they wrote scripts.
Yeah, research.
What's wild about the game? What's wild about the game is that this is from a period of time where I was obsessed with like bad books. Like I would read like Mein Kampf, and I'd read like all these other things. Just like, what are the ideas?
Alex.
So I read the game. What's wild about the game is
isolate that and then just
Minecraft is garbage. I have a copy of Minecraft that's very interesting because the first half of it
Please,
is like,
Alex, I
the
can't.
first half of it is essays about how fascism is. First half is essays about how fascism like rises, and I think it's very interesting. And then the back half is Minecraft. I didn't make it through. But the game is awful for 100. It barely cracks 100 pages.
Several men that have read the game, and they are literal predators within the comedy community. Continue.
Amazing.
But the thing was wild about the game is the last chapter of the game, the very last chapter of it, which is like maybe 5 pages long, is the guy who wrote the game is like, it has a storyline of he's a journalist who meets these pickup artists and kind of becomes one of them. And the very last chapter is he wakes up, looks around, and is like, oh, I'm so unhappy. I'm so unhappy and I need to leave. And
he wrote a sequel. He wrote a sequel. So the whole thing with that guy is that he was told, the publishers read that book and they're like, you have to write a textbook as a companion guide to this. And he said, I will not do that. And they're like, no, you have to. Here's $1 billion. Like they gave him so much money. He basically sold his soul to the devil. And when he did that, he felt so awful. And then he wrote a sequel, which came out maybe 4 years ago, and nobody read it. And it's like a whole, I'm so sorry for inflicting this on our society.
Yeah.
And my mother abused me as a child. That's like literally what the book is about. And nobody knows about this. We only know about like Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother using it as jokes. And then them writing and then them ripping that off, calling it the gentleman's code or whatever. Making $1 million more.
All right.
Guys.
So Justin Long realizes he's in love.
Oh, right.
So Gigi goes out on a date with a guy that he set her up on, this guy named Bill. And it's a perfectly fine date. And the whole point is like, oh, they liked each other. It's a nice date. Wasn't amazing. It wasn't like sparks were flying, but she's going to give it a chance. And then he leaves, and then the knock on the door, and it's Justin Long. It's that romantic ending that we all wanted.
Come on.
And it's so long.
No.
And they use this song by this band called Keen called Somewhere Only We Know. But they loop a certain part that goes like, and they loop that for like 4 minutes.
Come on.
And it's obviously looped. And he has to convince Jennifer Goodwin so hard to take him back. And he keeps being like, you're the exception. You're the exception. And it's a good 5-minute scene. And anyways, and that's what
she's basically like, but I thought there was no rules, or like there's no one's the exception to the rule, and he's like, you're my exception to the rule.
Yeah, everything he taught her, he has to backtrack on.
Sorry, I had to run for 2 seconds. But did you get to the thing where like when they have the interview with her that
not
she
yet.
then
No, not yet.
So at the very end, they have all these interviews, and they have an interview with like her and Justin, and they're together. And then it's like, oh, like they're asking like how they met is like the implied question. And it's like, oh, like we went to this party and it was a great party and blah, blah. And then this girl just wouldn't leave and like blah, blah, blah. And like making fun of that girl that she cock blocked like midway in the movie. It's such a wild movie. I love it. It's so insane.
We did it though. Did we? It's been 2 hours. We've been on this podcast for 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
Did we get through the movie?
I think, I believe we did. I believe we finished
I feel
the movie.
so unsettled and it doesn't feel done to me.
No, it's never done.
It's never done. This movie is insidious and it lives in all of our psyches forever.
What's your main question, Zelenka?
Honestly, I'm just really upset that with the ending, if I'm being honest. I'm upset that that's the way they decided to go. I kind of was hoping, if anything, if the fact that he realized he liked her and then decided to try to get her with, I wish one of you would riff off the monologue that he says or whatever. I really want to understand how that played out.
Should I find it? Hold on. Should I find it?
Here's the thing with the monologue is that it's so innocuous.
I'm gonna put it. Like I'm gonna put it on subtitles on my phone and see if I can.
Justin Long doesn't really monologue much.
Yeah.
He's kind of a neurotic actor.
Yeah. It's like it's so like they want it to be the like you had me at hello kind of monologue.
That's exactly what it is.
But
it's 18 minutes long.
But it's so like it's just a drone of like nonsense. And like and it is a movie where he had just been spitting this like, you don't have agency in the thing you're spitting that idea at her, and then now just drones at her being like, no, but I
just
want
kidding.
And,
okay.
It's so brutal. It's so brutal.
It is.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna.
She's gonna do
I don't know. No. Give me a minute.
It's gonna be so long for you to get to it.
Okay. Here's. So I have the subtitles on. I'm gonna start wherever. Like I've landed near the part. So I'm gonna see. So he goes
near the part.
Oh, no. I gotta. Here we go. Okay. This is just after. Okay, so she ends the date with that guy. She thinks he's knocking on the door. Justin Long's there, and she goes, oh, edit all of this. Edit it out.
That's what she says. Nice.
Yeah. So he goes, yeah. Okay, so he just said he liked her, and she goes, a wise person once told me that if a guy wants to be with a girl, he will make that happen no matter what. So that's what Jennifer, and he wrote, that's true. And she says, but when I was hurling my body onto yours, you did not seem to want to make it happen. And he says, okay, yeah, right. Here's the thing about that. You were right. I've gotten so used to keeping myself at a safe distance from all these women and having the power that I didn't know what it felt like when I actually fell for one of them.
You know what? I don't need to hear the rest. It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't need to hear anymore. That's fantastic.
They're both gaslighting each other at the same time.
Yeah, and that's like the climax. That's the emotional climax. And keep in mind, this is also like, because the movie's like all like interwebbed stories. This is also like right after Jennifer, I believe it comes right after Jennifer Connelly kicks out Bradley Cooper. It's like this, like the shot.
No, it's right after ScarJo says no to E.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. I've had too many beers. Give me a 2-minute break.
No, let's just wrap it. Let's just wrap it.
We can probably wrap it. We can wrap it. I think we can wrap it.
Okay, let's wrap it because I really got to pee.
Unless you guys have like need more commentary on this movie.
No, I don't feel like there's much else we could go from here. You know,
honestly,
I mean,
I could hear a little bit more about Marxism, to be honest.
We can.
Wait, if we're making jokes like this, let me pee. Please let me pee.
No, okay.
No. No, you're fucking gonna hold it.
Guys, this is the most me I've ever been in a podcast. I spilled on myself. I had to pee, and I talked about feminism.
Always stay on
if you
brand.
Listen to our podcast, that's all you do in every episode.
Please let me pee, guys. Please let me pee.
Yeah. Alenka, how many Bradley Cooper frosted tips do you give this movie?
Ooh, I give 10 spaghetti tips. I don't know why they seem noodly to me.
Tips.
I feel like they'd be noodly. Well, he's probably got at least like fucking 5,100 strands of hair on his hair. So
good. Okay,
hair
good.
On his
the percent
head.
needs to be
right. That's good. Okay. Sounds good. I got to get the fuck out of here.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, you know what? While you go, I think Alex can shout out the socials.
You're not going to do it properly. I'll be back.
Well, Alex.
No, bring us with you.
Where can our listeners find you?
So we're I'm watching at I think all social media.
Oh, wow. She was right.
Instagram,
You're not gonna
definitely
do it
Twitter. No, I never do it. So welcome to hell. And our podcast is we watch a movie with people and record the entirety of us watching the movie, and then I edit it down so it's not long chunks of silence. If you enjoyed our type of commentary on this, that's pretty much what it is, distilled for like an hour and a half of just us yelling at movies with fun guests. We had a lot of cool guests on it. If you want to follow just me, I guess I'm at Alex Kolanko on Twitter and just _ turd on Instagram. And I have another podcast where I talk about sad songs called Bummer Boys.
That's funny.
It's a good podcast. We have a lot of cool bands. We just recorded an episode with Charmer. If you give a shit about cool bands, if that name meant anything to you, you're like cool. If it didn't, you're like cool. I'm gonna look up Al the Vite on Twitter, and I think Alessandra Vite on Instagram, but I can't find her right now.
Well, I'm sure you'll be tagged in this post. So
yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it out. But thank you for having us. The fact that Alessandra had to leave to go pee is you guys understand my pain of podcasting with her.
Fantastic.
It's perfect. Yeah.
All you need is like her like to eat directly into the microphone and you get a full experience.
Yeah, the full experience.
Yeah. Oh, is she coming back?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to follow us, you can follow us at Haven't Seen a Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at haven't_seen_it on Twitter. You can also go to our website, haven'tseenapodcast.com. There we have all our episodes and the giant list of movies like us haven't seen. We're still building it all the time. We're going to get up there 300, I think. 300 movies. Let's do it.
I'm sure.
Yeah. You can also find many more great podcasts on the Brain Freeze Podcast Network, which we are under, and the Sonar Network, which I'm watching a movie is under. So
yeah, Alex,
did
you give all the hot deets?
I give all the hot deets. I even plugged your Twitter. Like I'm
didn't even stumble once.
I love it. I love it. Good. I don't have to fulfill my gender role of having to make sure things are properly done.
First of all, you have no idea how this podcast, oh boy, don't even come at me.
I do nothing.
You want to know what's funny? That's the exact same for us. Will literally does every fucking thing. And I just double check what movie we're going to see. And I'm like, okay, 5 minutes before I'm good.
Hey, I do all the socials. I will say I do all the socials.
No, I don't do that.
Which
I
takes
do
about
nothing.
15 minutes. I'm not.
On that note, you guys, fuck the patriarchy. Good night.